So I see a lot of people complaining about how the new pyro weapon, the what's this thing called? Dragon's Fury is overpowered, and I see a lot of people say it, but I don't think a lot of people really understand why it's strong. I don't think it's overpowered. I just think it's a very, very strong weapon, and something the pyro desperately needs. But I don't think it's overpowered. But I do understand why it's a strong weapon, and I kind of want to explain that here. Also, for some reason, TR walkway bots are very inconsistent when you shoot them, and I don't understand why, so you have to like be straight up in its face to do damage to it, so just bear with me and keep that in mind as I explain these things. Now, first off, the most important thing about the pyro as a whole and why he's not a very strong class is the first thing is lack of mobility. Okay, everybody knows that, everybody understands that. I want to look at something a little bit deeper. Now, putting mobility aside and ignoring that, why is Soldier strong? Soldier is strong because he does a lot of damage. Why is Scout strong? Again, ignoring mobility for the time being. Scout is strong because he does a lot of damage. Why is Demo strong? He does a lot of damage. But Heavy does a lot of damage too, and I guess you could argue Pyro does a lot of damage too, but they don't do it in the same way. The way Soldier does damage and the way Heavy does damage are vastly different, and that is that Soldier has a lot of burst damage. So, as a Soldier, you can basically two-shot every single class in the game, if not three-shot them, with just like a few shots. Same with Scout, same with Demo. A Heavy has to like constantly track and keep a steady beam on their target while chasing them, giving the person time to move and get out of the way. And this applies to Pyro as well. As soon as you get touched by a Pyro, or as soon as they start targeting you, you can avoid them and not take any damage. For when you're fighting a Scout, if you get hit, you're basically dead, because all they need to do is land that second shot, and there's not enough time to move out of the way. Now, if you're really good and you have really strong movement, then there's the counterplay, and you turn on them, blah, 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 blah. But taking this entire concept and reducing it to its absolute most bare and, I'd say, naive, like, prospect is burst damage is better than, you know, damage over time. In comes the Dragon Slave. Dragon Slave? Dragon's Fury. So, the Dragon's Fury gives Pyro the, what he didn't have previously, which before he has, just, you know, constant, like, track kind of damage, but now he has proper burst damage. So, he can, like a Soldier or a Scout, basically two-shot whoever he wants. And again, TR walkway bots don't like this item for some reason. But as we can see, just like a Scout would, you can go bam, bam, and basically two-shot whoever you want. So the first shot will do 25 damage, and every subsequent shot will do 75 damage. Bam, bam, easy kill. So I've noticed when using this, it's very reminiscent of playing Scout, where if somebody's like jumping around, you track them and you go bam, and then they jump that way, and you air shot them or something, and it feels a lot like you're playing Scout in that sense. It has that same like feel of burstiness and like being able to two-shot people and three-shot people or what have you. Now, in addition to that, that on its own is good, and that makes the item powerful. But another thing about this item is that unlike the scattergun and unlike the rocket launcher, this is effectively an infinite clip scattergun. The scattergun has to reload in order for you to keep firing, but this item doesn't. It effectively has an infinite clip, because if you get a kill, then you get more ammo, and then so you can just keep firing with this weapon. As a scout, every shot counts. If you don't two-shot somebody, you have to use another shot. Now you only have 3 shots, and now you have to reload. You jump away, you reload, you re-engage, so on and so forth. That's not true with this weapon. You can just keep shooting. Well, I'm on TR Walkway, so I'm getting constantly resupplied, but the point remains. You can just keep firing with this weapon, and there's nothing that you have to worry about as long as you just keep shooting. So it's very forgiving in that aspect. It's like, if you miss on Scout, that's a huge amount of damage that you just completely lost. So now you only have 5 shots. You miss again, now you only have 4 shots. Oh, congratulations, you hit someone. Now you have 3 shots left. You miss again. Now you realize, why am I playing this class? I'm bad at it. And now you only have 2 shots. And then your 3rd shot just barely doesn't kill them. So now you only have 1 shot left. You finally kill that person. But now you have no ammo. Somebody else comes behind. In the middle of your reload, you shoot them. Now you still have 0 shots, and then you have to reload and shoot again. And people like to say, and by people I mean, I think Valve said this at some point, Delman and like Scout are balanced around their reloads. That they have this huge damage potential, but the fact that you have to reload keeps that in check. With this item, you never have to reload. So if you miss, you just keep firing, and keep firing, and keep firing until you eventually hit them and kill them. And now, after you kill that person, you can just move on to the next kill and just keep shooting because this item has no reload. It's a flamethrower after all. So that's another aspect that makes the item very strong. Another thing that makes this item rather powerful is that since the shots are projectiles, they're all or nothing. So you're not going to accidentally do like 4 damage on a meat shot with this item. You're going to do full damage every time. Let me elaborate. So with a shotgun, if you're in the middle of a firefight and you're strafing back and forth like that, and you shoot someone, okay, that's a 60 damage, 64 damage. Not bad. That shot does 56, and that shot does 5. That doesn't really apply here, because the item has no... How do you say? It's a projectile, so it's not that one projectile will do less damage than the other. So if a shot is really meaty like that, it'll do full damage. But if a shot is slightly off to the side, it'll still do... Well, it's hard to show on walkway bots because, again, I don't know why it doesn't work at that range. But it doesn't matter if I shoot them there, or slightly off center. It's gonna do the same damage as if I hit them with the full meat. So it's 75 no matter what. Well, the first shot is 25, the second shot is 75. But my point remains. The damage is very consistent, and the fact that you can just keep shooting even if you miss helps a lot. So it doesn't matter how much you miss. You'll always be able to do consistent damage, because again, you never have to reload, and you can just keep firing, and as long as the shot connects at all, it'll do full damage. Last thing, and this is not immediately obvious about the item, is I really want to see somebody Kritzkrieg this item, because the second attack, the first attack does, 25 damage. The second attack does 75 damage because it's triple damage against Burnie players. And that's the key. It explicitly says 300% damage. It is not a crit. It does not crit on burning players like the flare gun does. What it does is it just triples the damage that you're doing. So this item can receive crits on top of the triple damage. So the first shot does 25. The second shot does 75. A crit would do 75, 225 for a total of 300. And then every subsequent shot would do 225 damage. So it'd be 75, 225, 225, 225, 225. Nothing in the game, as far as I am aware, can survive 525 damage. So if there was a heavy, you will always be able to 3-shot them, even if they are fully overhealed. You could basically 2-shot them with this item, even if they're just at normal HP. So I really want to see somebody crit screed this item, because I think it would be hilarious just 2-shotting everything in the game with 300 damage shots. So I feel like this item would be very powerful when critzed. People say that Crit Screed Scout is really strong. 180, it's like 180 damage, meat shots. This item is even better than that because, again,
you don't have to reload.
But yeah, that's basically all I really wanted to say about this item. Now, oh, last thing. A lot of people might be saying how this item is kind of unfair and very strong, and I'd be right there with you until you realize, oh wait, Soldier and Demo and Scout have items which functionally do the same thing. The Sticky Bomb Launcher will always do 100 damage. The Rocket Launcher will always do like 90 damage, 112 damage plus Splash. So whatever you get from Splash as well, and the Scattergun is, you know, good by virtue of being attached to a class that can double jump. So so yeah, I think this item is very high on the tier list as far as items go, but I don't think it's straight up overpowered. Maybe it could use a couple of reworks, like that crits thing I talked about, but apart from that, I think the item is strong, but okay.